Hello, students. Welcome to English class. I'm your teacher, Mr. Oza, and it is time for us to work on classwork number 52. This is an introduction to our new novel that we will be reading called The Kite Runner. So just a reminder, I would like you to please make sure you're done with classwork 51 before you work on this assignment. That number 51 explains the setting, which is the beautiful country of Afghanistan, which you see here in the background of this image. And so here we go. This novel is called The Kite Runner. Today we're going to learn about some of the main characters and the author and some of the events happening in the book. So here we see a kid in Afghanistan with the mountains in the background, literally flying a kite. And the concept of flying kites, kite running, and kite fighting is a big part of this story. So let's jump right in, and we're going to start by talking about the author, Khaled Hosseini. Now, Khaled Hosseini is the author of many novels. He's written a bunch of different books, and this book in particular is his first novel that he ever wrote. And it was also made into a movie, which we're going to watch during our time together this term. So, this novel, The Kite Runner, was written in 2003, and it was so successful it became a New York Times bestseller. If you're not aware of the New York Times bestseller list, it's pretty simple. It's a list that comes out in the New York Times newspaper that keeps track of the most popular and best-selling books. So if somebody says it's a New York Times bestseller, that just means that a lot of people around the world are enjoying it, which, might not mean that you necessarily enjoy it, but it's at least a good, a good critical acclaim. Like, it's a good compliment for someone to kind of have that award as a New York Times bestseller. So for the first novel that he ever wrote to become a bestseller like that, like, that's pretty cool. He actually started his career as a doctor. He was a physician in California, and while he was working as a physician, he decided that he wanted to become a writer. He always had a passion for writing when he grew up, and so before work, before he went into the hospital that he worked at, he would slowly but surely write The Kite Runner in the early mornings, and then he decided to pursue writing full time. He was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. So you might remember from the last video that Kabul is the capital city, the most populated city in Afghanistan. And so that is the setting of this novel. You might have heard someone say before, write about what you know. And so he was born in Kabul, grew up in Kabul, spent a lot of time there, has been back to Kabul many times. So he's writing about this city that he has experienced firsthand. This last statement, the main character of the novel is very, very loosely based on him. The main character in this story is a kid named Amir. And a question that I get a lot when I teach this book is, Mr. Oza, is Amir Khaled Hosseini, is like the guy who wrote the book, like, is he basing the main character off of himself? And my answer is just a little bit, right? The author Khaled Hosseini and this fictional character Amir, right? They're both kids growing up in Afghanistan that enjoy writing and move to California. That's basically it. Any other similarities between the two, we can't really be sure of. So he is writing from a point of strength where he knows the topic, he knows the setting, and so it's tempting to be like, yeah, that's him. Amir is him. Amir is Khaled Hosseini, but it's not quite like that. Amir is a fictional character. The people in this story are not real people. They might be based on little aspects of his memory of stuff that's happened to him in life, but they're not based on like real, true, actual people. Now we're going to talk a little bit about kite fighting. You might be familiar with this game. I know that it is played on a lot of Caribbean islands, such as Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. I know that my mom and my cousins over in India enjoy playing the game of kite fighting. It's very popular all over the Middle East. So yeah, it's an important part of this story. So let's explain it. Kite fighting is literally battling kites. You fly a kite for fun a lot of the time. You just toss it up there, you watch it sail, it's got a cool pattern on it, and it's an enjoyable activity. Kite fighting is where you're actually going to attach some sort of sharp object or use really strong and really sharp string to try and cut down the other kites in the sky. So like some things that you can do is attach a little razor blade to the top. You can take an aluminum can and rip it and put that, sharp edge on the string. If you cut the line of your opponent's kite, then you win, right? And then the other kite falls out of the sky and very slowly but surely falls back down to the earth. Now, if a kite gets cut out of the sky, then that kite is now up for grabs. Anyone can run after it, and if you catch that kite, then you get to keep it. The kite runner, remember the kite runner is the name of our story. The kite runner is a kid who's really good at running after the kite and grabbing it before it hits the ground, right? It's tough. You got to look at the wind. You have to judge if the kite is going to go left or if it's going to go right. You have to watch the kite in the sky while you're running in one direction. Maybe you're running across a field. Maybe you're running through a city. Maybe you're on the top of a building. You got to go all the way down the building. Then you got to go outside and look for the kite up in the sky. Kite running is not an easy job. So, there's usually two people on a team, so to speak. One person is flying the kite and try to cut the other kites out of the sky, which is fun. And then once they're able to cut some kites out of the sky, the kite runner will run after a kite and try to keep it, add it to the collection. It's a pretty fun game. So our two main characters are little kids who really love this game of kite fighting. Here's a picture of some kite fighting in action. You can see this guy trying to cut someone else's kite, and maybe these guys over here are trying to catch the kite that's falling out of the sky. I remember my mom growing up, my mom said, I thought this was so cool because my mom said it to me, and also one of the main characters in the book said it. Notice how the person flying the kite has these bandages, has these cuts all over their fingers. My mom said that it was like a point of pride. You would go into school the next day with Band-Aids all around your fingers, and there would be blood coming, out of the Band-Aids because you're holding the string so hard and you're trying so hard to cut the other kites. And the narrator in the story, Amir, our main character, says the exact same thing. So I thought that was really cool that Amir, the main character of this novel, his experience matched with exactly what my mom said when she was a kid, when she was talking about flying kites. That you really get a sense of pride over it when you have literal battle scars on your hands from flying the kite so hard. It makes the game seem really exciting and really prideful. So let's jump into a discussion of some of the main characters, okay? Amir is our main character, and he's also the narrator, meaning he is the one telling us the story. Amir is 12 years old. We are going to see him grow up throughout the story. This is a long-term story. We see Amir at age 12. We see him at age 18. We also see him at age 35. Amir is living the good life in Afghanistan. There is a lot of poverty in the Middle East, and Afghanistan is no exception, but his father is very well off, and so he is living very comfortably. As you can see, he's got food, he's got a nice house, he's got a nice chair that he's sitting in, good clothes and stuff like that. So yeah, things are going pretty good for Amir. He loves kite fighting, obviously. We just talked about that. He's a Pashtun. If you remember from the last video, we're going to talk a lot about two ethnic groups in this story, the Pashtuns and the Hazaras. The Pashtuns are the majority ethnic group, and the Hazaras are the minority. So, speaking of those Hazaras, this is Amir's best friend. His name is Hassan, and he is a Hazara boy. All right? Hassan gets picked on. Hassan gets bullied. Hassan gets made fun of. And part of the reason for that is because he is a Hazara. He is part of the minority ethnic group here in Kabul. 11 years old, roughly the same age as Amir, a little bit younger. Amir's best friend, he actually lives in the same property as Amir, living as a housekeeper with his father, making beds, doing dishes, cleaning the house, and he loves kite running. So in this team of Amir and Hassan, Amir is the kite fighter. He's the one holding the kite, trying to cut down the other kites. And once he's able to do that, Hassan is the one who will run after the kites and try to catch them and add to the collection. All right, so our main character, Amir, his father is Baba. Baba is just a Farsi word for father. Farsi is the most popular language spoken in Afghanistan, and Baba is a word that just means father. We don't actually learn this character's actual name. But Baba is a very well-respected businessman in Kabul. He is got a lot of businesses going on. He provides for his son. He's got a complicated relationship with his son, though. He is kind of like a tough guy. He's kind of a large man. He's tall, he's strong, and, he kind of sees his son as not that strong, he's kind of worried about the way his son is growing up, worrying that he doesn't have enough strength or courage. And so a big part of this book is the relationship between these two characters as they both get older. They start off as a father and son, who are have a lot of tension. And then how does their relationship go as they get older? Does it get better or does it get worse? And of course, to complicate the issue, his wife, which is Amir's mother, died at birth, right? So he's a single dad taking care of Amir. Baba has a business partner named Rahim Khan. Baba's business partner inspires Amir to pursue a career in writing. This is a character who kind of is like an uncle, a mentor, a friend, a character that Amir can look up to. Obviously, that's not his father, but a character that he has a lot of respect for. He has a big influence on Amir and his career and his decision to become a writer later on in life. All right, Hassan, our Hazara friend, his father is kind of a side character, but does play an important role, especially in one of the chapters. Hassan's father is the housekeeper for Baba and Amir. He has polio and a crippled leg, so Ali is disabled. He is able to walk around, but not that well. He gets bullied by kids. He gets bullied by a lot of people, because of his ethnicity, for being a minority, and also because of his disability, which is really tough to see. It's really sad. And one of the people who bullies both Ali and his son Hassan is this character, Asef. Now, Asef is a 14-year-old boy. He's a teenager. He bullies both Amir and Hassan. He's a Pashtun boy, meaning that he is part of the majority ethnic group, and he bullies our friend Hassan because he is a minority. And also, his father has a disability, and so he makes fun of him for that, which I think we can learn a lesson of, hey, let's not bully people based on their disabilities or their ethnic groups, right? Asef is, based on everything that we know here, not a good dude. He is a bully, and like I say here in this slide, much of his bullying is based on race and ethnicity. So we have some conflict set up, right? We have some conflict between the boys, Asef, Amir, and Hassan, and we see some kind of tension between Amir and his father. We see Amir wanting to pursue a career in writing, and there will be a lot of drama along the way. We will see the setting change. We go from Afghanistan at one point over to California in the United States. So one of the big plot lines is kind of the immigrant story. What is it like for somebody who moves from the Middle East over to California? What is that transition like? And I feel like that's something that a lot of us, or perhaps our parents or family members, this is something that we can relate with. So I hope this video was really helpful for you. I hope this kind of got you into this story. I hope you find these characters interesting, and I really hope that you enjoyed this book. I've read it a bunch of times with my students, and a lot of students really like this book. It's funny, it's happy. and it's very sad in some moments. So I really hope you enjoy the kind of roller coaster that this book is. So now your instructions, all you got to do is hop into the Google Doc where you found this video. You're going to fill out some questions and you'll be done for the day. Our next video, we're going to talk about some themes and motifs in the novel. Basically some main ideas, some life lessons that we can learn from reading this novel. Thanks as always for watching this video. My name is Mr. Oza, and as always, I hope you guys have a great class.